Hello everyone and welcome to Procurement in the Park. I am Christian Schuh and today in the second episode of my occasional series that draws inspiration from my book, The CPO, I want to look at what CPOs need to do to increase the prominence of the procurement function inside their own companies. Most of a CPO's time and effort is dedicated to looking outside the companies, to the suppliers. But I want to stress that this external work will be much easier if CPOs first address the very important internal part of their job. Specifically, if you are a CPO, you need to do two things. One, you need to win the support of your CEO. Two, you need to win the trust of your C-suite colleagues in other functions. This is the point that I make near the beginning of my book, The CPO. You may recall from the first episode in the series that I and my co-authors address the very real-world challenges facing CPOs by telling the fictional story of Thomas Sutter, a 30-something CPO. Early on, Sutter is promoted to the role of CPO at a major US industrial company. He's lucky in one respect. He has the support of the CEO who had personally hired him into the job. But if you're not so lucky, then your first big challenge as CPO will be to win over the CEO whose support will be critical to your success. And when I say support, I don't just mean a general, non-specific kind of backing. I mean something altogether more engaged, more proactive. You will need to get your CEO to give you a new strategic mandate, one that focuses not narrowly on delivering lower cost, but broadly on generating profitable growth. Today, when I meet with CPOs and explain my thinking, I sometimes get a questioning response. How can I make such a big ask, they say, when my CEO barely thinks about procurement at the best of times? I fully understand their skepticism. A research report from Harvard Business School found that on average, CEOs spend just 1% of their time with suppliers. A ridiculously low percentage given that spending on suppliers accounts for more than half of a typical company's total budget. But my response to skeptical CEOs is to recount one of the stories I tell in my latest book, Profit from the Source, published by Harvard Business Review Press. I was advising one of the world's most prestigious companies. The senior executives needed savings from suppliers, and fast. I recommended a new approach that meant that the CEO would need to make procurement a personal matter. In particular, I encouraged the CEO to build direct relationships with the CEOs of the company's most important suppliers. The CEO agreed, and at a stroke, procurement was elevated to a new, higher, more strategic level in a way that wasn't before. And the benefits were manifold. Yes, costs were cut, but also the company was soon able to generate profitable growth because the CEOs discussed other mutually beneficial ways that they could work together. If and when you have your CEO on your side, you need to do one other thing in order to raise the internal prominence of the procurement function. In my book, The CPO, Thomas Sutter, the hero of the story, is troubled by the fact that there is no regular interaction between the procurement function and the other significant strategic functions. He is troubled because if procurement executives do not interact with executives from other functions on a routine basis, then they will not be able to deliver on a more expansive strategic mandate. In my new book, Profit from the Source, I and my co-authors from Boston Consulting Group talk about the need for CPOs to own the product lifecycle. What this means in practice is that the CPO and their team should play a central role in every aspect of a product. From the very moment when the design engineer picks up a pencil to start sketching out ideas for the new product, to the moment when the last product rolls off the factory production line. For this to happen, the CPO and procurement managers need to be part of the conversation that involves all kinds of people, including finance, design, engineering, marketing, and so on. This can help deliver profitable growth. Right now, the procurement manager's key question is, can I negotiate the lowest price from the supplier? But when they are part of the conversation and given a strategic role, the key question becomes, can we create the right product with the right innovation from the right suppliers? Inevitably, cost is part of the equation that makes the product right. But so are several other factors. These include, is the product too complex and therefore too difficult to make? Does it have too many features, more than the customer actually wants or needs? Is it sufficiently innovative? Is it appropriately sustainable? Are the suppliers the best in the business? Or are they just the ones that the design engineers are comfortable working with? How does it compare to the competitor's product? One company that has found a way to make this happen is Inditex, the owner of Zara, the fast fashion retailer. At most fashion houses, the designers and the other creative types call the shots. Not at Inditex. Here, where there is no single chief designer, hundreds of designers share offices with procurement executives and production managers. So when suppliers visit the company, they invariably end up meeting the design, procurement, and production managers. This collaboration, fostered by a close physical proximity at the company's headquarters in Spain, has created strong bonds among Inditex's executives in the different functions. They have learned to really trust each other. And this collaborative environment encourages everyone to feel that they all co-own the product, ensures the decisions flow through the company quickly, and allows the company to be super responsive to consumer demands. Inditex's continuing success is a measure of the success of this inclusive approach to procurement. So my big message today is this: if you as the CPO can solve your internal challenges by winning the support of your CEO and winning the trust of your fellow executives in other functions, you will discover that you stand a better chance of meeting your external challenges with suppliers. Thank you for watching. I am Christian Schuh and this is Procurement in the Park.